Hey guys, today we've had a full moon in Virgo at 12:40 this afternoon, and in typical Virgo style, I am running late. I've been so busy. But anyway, let's get to it. So, 7th of March, 12:40 this afternoon, and 55 minutes after the full moon, we had Saturn moving into the sign of Pisces as well, which we're going to have a look at. But we're going to look at the themes of the full moon, which last until tomorrow afternoon, about 2:30. So there's still plenty of time to do Virgo type stuff. So keeping yourself busy and perfecting whatever whatever endeavors you choose to get involved in. So the themes for Virgo on this full moon, it's cleaning time. It's time to organize and it's time to analyze. So analyzing those things where you could be more efficient. You may find yourself overthinking and possibly creating scenarios in your head that do not exist in the real world, but we can overthink simple situations and make us worry, would be one way of putting it, worry about things that may not happen and which may cause a lot of stress and anxiety by thinking possibilities which may not even come into fruition. So it's one to be aware of, especially when Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury, which is to do with the mind. So Virgos tend to have very, very active minds and can overthink. So sometimes you need to pinch yourself or catch yourself on when your thoughts get carried away. Okay, being efficiency and being efficient. So it can be about cutting corners, but it's also about making sure everything is done properly and in the most efficient time frame possible. So that's a Virgo a theme, and you will notice this. Employers especially should be taking note. The things that aren't working as well as they should be are the nuts that need tightened and the bolts that need tightened up. So it's good to pay attention to these things around full moon times, because this is when it's exposed and you can see where you need to work on to make the machine run better and smoother and more efficiently. So attending to detail as well. That's why we've got the image here with all the graphs and the notepads. So attention to detail is very important. So it's making sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed so that things are not missed or overlooked. So health and stress, these are themes to do with Virgo as well, because it's an earth sign. So it can be connected to the body as well, and in particular the digestive system, because it's how we process things through the body. So if you're feeling stressed or your health is suffering, you might want to consider a change of diet, so a more healthy diet approach to eating, like cutting out meat would be a theme for Virgo, because Virgo people, because of the overthinking and the stress that they can create in their own minds, the digestive system can feel overwhelmed, and it needs, maybe something a bit lighter, like fruit, vegetables, salads, that kind of thing. So a lot of Virgo people stay away from meat because it's heavy and it can be difficult to process through the body. So healthy routines as well. So the Virgo routine can be pretty jam-packed. There can be lots of stuff going on. So it's good to know what you have to do and plan your routine wisely so that you can fit everything in. Virgo is the sign of the worker as well. So it's about working hard and dedication to your craft. It's about obtaining perfection as well. So Virgos can become very frustrated when things aren't going the way they want to, and that will come out during this full moon period. So Virgo is also about service. It's what you do to help others or to help something bigger, like a bigger machine. It's what you do to help that come along. So focus on that. Will you will Your focus will be brought into focus. and the processes that you do on your daily tasks as well. You will notice maybe more efficient ways to do your processes. And one of the big things with Virgo that I like to keep mentioning is the mind, body, and the soul. Because if you neglect one of those, the other two go out of whack. So you need to have a good, healthy mental attitude towards life and towards your job or whatever you do, your hobbies, your families, everything. You need to have a healthy mental attitude. So reading and keep educating yourself, that kind of stuff. And the body needs healthy, good nourishment as well, and also needs exercise. And soul, so it's healthy to have a good spiritual outlook on life as well. So you need to be balancing all three of these kind of themes. So your routine should incorporate maybe a bit of meditation, some exercise, reading, educating yourself, and plan your routine wisely so that all three are incorporated. So the full moon themes, completion and fruition, that's understanding what has been completed. So maybe what tasks you have started 6 months previous are coming to fruition. Have you realized your dream? Has the task at hand been completed successfully? There is an oppositional energy between the full moon in Virgo and the sun in Pisces. So Pisces is where you dream and you escape and you let go of the real world, the material world, so to speak, because that's what the sun is highlighting during the day. It's the material world that you see. And the full moon is what the inner realm is going on inside you, how you feel about all that. So are you happy with what you see in the outer world? And as we can see, what the Virgo moon is showing us is all the confusion and the chaos in the real world, with people not being happy in their jobs or not getting paid enough. There's still issues with shipping and supply chains, food shortages. There's lots of chaos in the world currently going on, not just where we live in Northern Ireland, but it's international. It's across the world, so to speak. So it's awareness of all this, what needs to be done on an inner level to deal with this, because they are stressful times, to be honest. If you're a worker, you'll be wanting to be paid accordingly, and you'll want a sense of fulfillment from that as well. So the inner realm really needs to be satisfied. So it's at these times, exercise, healthy eating where possible, meditation as well assists with all this. So in the chart for Belfast for the full moon, we have had the Virgo full moon in the second house, which highlights finances, values, and basic needs. So that's why we're seeing the food shortages, like vegetable supplies, some of the shelves, tomatoes in particular, trying to find a tomato. That's one of the things personally I miss. It's hard to find. Pay increases as well. We're seeing that with industrial action, with all people, workers, and Virgo is the sign of the worker as well. And that's highlighting the workers' needs. So even workers are having to go to food banks because they're not getting paid enough. Okay, so crazy times, but the Virgo full moon is noticing or picking up and exposing all these issues. The Uranus trine, 15 degrees of Taurus, planet Uranus, making a trine to the moon at 16 degrees of Virgo. So this is about revolution, reinvention, land issues as well. So there could be some intervention. It's in the 10th house. Uranus is in the 10th house. So we may see some intervention from government. They may, now with trines, things can happen fairly quickly. So we may see some intervention from government in regard to workers and how they will be paid moving forward. So hopefully the workers get rewarded financially for their efforts. So there's a Mars T-square. So the Mars is square to the moon and also to the sun. And T-squares can generally create tension and frustration. And this particular energy is mutable, which means the energy is going in different directions. There's lots of different things going on at the same time. There could be, especially for talks with unions, speaking with employers and management teams, there's going to be arguments, there's going to be disagreements, because that's the nature of this T-square aspect. The Mars in Gemini suggests the need for communication. The moon in the Virgo is about the workers' needs. And what we have is, yep, arguments, there's going to be disagreements, but at the same time, the communication here will be forced. It has to happen. And it will be a learning experience for all involved. But it can be positive when the focus is focused on the end result, and a pleasant result, hopefully, for all concerned. Mars being in the 12th house in the sign of Gemini suggests the negotiations towards oneness as well. So this can bring in the Windsor Framework and the Northern Ireland Protocol. And the negotiations can be quite confusing as well, because Mars, the 12th house, is associated, it has an affinity and association with the sign of Pisces, the ocean. So Mars could be kind of lost at sea, drifting, looking for direction. Okay, so that could be highlighting unions and the strikes and the industrial action and the need for resolution on that front. As far as the sun goes, we have Sun conjunct Mercury and Neptune. So Neptune here at 24 Pisces, Mercury recently entered Pisces, now at 7 degrees. So the sun is sitting in between those. So Mars is making a square to Neptune, and this will become exact in a few days. And what this is going to highlight, we have the dreamy aspect in Pisces here, and Mercury in Pisces, it's your dreams, it's communication through your dreams, and it's also about meditation, that kind of thing as well, letting go, surrendering the mind. So you need to open up yourself to divine ideas, divine intervention as well. So you can, some beautifully creative ideas can come around this time. So it's good to make note of them and put them into reality, start that process of putting them into reality, because there will be tension from this because it's a square, but it means action. Mars is action through words, through communication, and Neptune is escape. So there may be tension because you may want to just relax, go with the flow, but Mars is saying, no, you need to do this. It must be done. Okay, so there may be confusion and frustration as well, but it can also be extremely productive whenever you work with the Mars energy. That Mars is the divine will and Neptune's the divine inspiration. So Mars is putting that divine inspiration into action. So we have had Saturn entering Pisces 55 minutes after the full moon. So at the time of this recording, and when you'll be watching this, Saturn will have entered Pisces. Now, I will be doing a separate presentation on this, but the themes for Saturn and Pisces, some of the ones I've picked up on, are the massive cleanups on the ocean. Marine pollution is a massive issue. So that's going to be, you'll notice, you will see and you will hear this in the news and stuff like that. But we may also see restrictions or changes in regard to fishing policies. Saturn and Pisces can be about losing your boundaries, losing borders, which will be a big one for the Northern Ireland Protocol and this new Windsor framework as well, because Saturn is boundaries and Pisces is the sea. And we currently have the Irish Sea border, economic Irish Sea border, which has legally been proven not to make Northern Ireland any less British than the rest of England or the rest of the UK. But the economic Irish Sea border is still in place, and that's to the frustration of a lot of the unionist community and politicians. But positivity wise, Saturn and Pisces will be very positive for managing addictions. So alcohol addiction, drug addiction, addiction to medical prescription drugs, that kind of thing. It will be productive, but we'll go into this on the other presentation. And it's going to be positive for spiritual and creative work and bringing that down to earth. Okay. So other notable events, well, Saturn will be in Pisces until May 2025. Pluto will enter Aquarius towards the end of this month, which is a big one. So it's going to stay, it will dip in and out, but up until March 2043, that's when Pluto will leave into the next sign, into Pisces. And when Pluto entered Capricorn in January 2008, that's when we had the financial crisis. So it's quite possible we will experience something similar again towards the end of this month, leading into April. So there could be another financial crash coming, property crash. But this, in the long term, this is going to be extremely transformational in terms of technology and how we use technology. But I'm going to do another video or presentation or bring some more information about that moving forward. Okay, so in the meantime, we still have the Virgo full moon energy up until tomorrow afternoon when the moon moves on into the next sign. But until that, have a really productive full moon. You can do your full moon releases, meditations and that tonight, and let go of all your anxieties and your stresses. And that's it. Have a pleasant evening, and I will be on again with the Saturn and Pisces presentation. Okay. Thank you.